Ladies and gentlemen, hello. I'm Jake Baldino. Today is September 11th, 2015, and welcome to the gameranx Friday Untitled News Show thing. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week, starting off with Bungie and its music composer, or ex-music composer, Marty O'Donnell. I don't know how many of you guys were actually following this, but way back when Bungie was being created, Marty O'Donnell, the famous composer, one of the founders of Bungie, the guy who made the famous Halo music, was let go from the Destiny project. They didn't really use his music, and they kicked him to the curb, and he had been suing Bungie to get back lost wages and retain his rights to his stocks and shares that he was entitled to. So basically, Bungie and Activision owed him a lot of money, and he wanted to get it back. Well, the news is that he won the court case, and he got at least minimum $145,000 worth of damages. Not to mention, he's also been given back all the stocks in Bungie, and that's gotta be millions of dollars. So that's the story, but the interesting stuff, the stuff you should look into, is the litigation and how it revealed there's a lot of tension between Bungie and Activision. It seems like there's a lot of creative differences, with Activision throwing out a bunch of money. So with the whole Marty O'Donnell thing aside, look at all the other stuff that this shows about Bungie and Activision and how these big expensive AAA games are made, because it's really interesting. GamesBeat has a really good write-up. I linked that down below, as well as all the other stories I talk about today. And then in lighter, quirkier, fun news, we got Nintendo posting a very funny video debunking some classic Super Mario myths. This is promoting the new Super Mario Maker game, and it has the creator Shigeru Miyamoto answering some really awkward questions in a hilarious manner. But seriously, these are really hard-hitting questions, like when Mario jumps and breaks a brick, does he use his head or does he use his fist? And also, just who is Bowser Jr.'s mother? I can't make this shit up. But speaking of not making stuff up, we finally got some good tidbits of new Fallout 4 news, starting off with the promised video series outlining all the special perks. These are absolutely freaking marvelous videos done in the whole classic animated style with the old school noise, music, sound effects, and they outline all the perks, and the first one is Strength, and it's hilarious, and you should definitely check it out. These are going to just keep periodically rolling out, and it's making the wait for Fallout 4 that much shorter. And speaking of Fallout 4, oh hail almighty Bethesda, best company in the world. Well, Fallout 4's got a season pass. Sorry, kids. That being said, not to be an apologist for season passes, but this one actually seems like it might be okay. So it's a flat $30, you pay it, and then Bethesda said you get access to every DLC and every content they ever create. Now, if you guys pay attention, if you played Skyrim, or if you played, Fallout 3, all the stuff they added on to those games were significant chunks of almost expansion packs. So $30 for everything down the line, I think that's pretty good. Still, will I go for that when I buy the $60 game? I don't know. Probably not. But I do want to know what you guys think. And then anyway, can we get back to stupid shit for a second? I always like to just show you guys cool bullshit that I find on the internet. Check out this Grand Theft Auto 5 plane with a missing wing pull off a perfect landing. After all these years, Grand Theft Auto 5 is really just another one of those gifts that keeps on giving. And in other news, let's talk about Apple. Yay! Gamers love Apple, right? No? Okay. Well, there's a little tiny bit of news here. Apple, of course, had an event where they announced a new giant-ass iPad, predictably kind of just a little bit better iPhones. But most importantly, they outlined details for their new set-top box, the new version of the Apple TV. The set-top box, HDMI, you watch Netflix, you download movies, blah, 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 blah. Well, now you can play apps directly on your TV. So apps that you own on your iPad or your iPhone, you can now play on your TV. And they actually have some cool cross-play-like integration. And while this was 5 minutes of their presentation, and it wasn't really a big deal, and all these people were really hyped thinking Nintendo would really jump into gaming, I think this is actually a pretty substantial baby step. Yeah, of course, it's completely copying the Nintendo Wii. It's basically doing what the Wii did years ago, especially you could buy a wrist strap for the new Apple TV remote. What the fuck is that? That being said, while I don't think it really matters for us per se, like me and you guys, I think for the casual market, this might be a big deal eventually down the line, because parents who don't know anything, but they know that their kid has a lot of apps on their iPod or their iPad that they bought them, if they can get a console that lets them play that on their TV, and they're already in that ecosystem, fuck getting a Wii, fuck getting an Xbox that this kid doesn't know anything about, they're gonna get him that thing. At least while they're young, I could see that happening. Do I want that to happen? I don't think so. But anyway, I'll use any excuse I can ever take to talk about Metal Gear Solid 5. So check out this picture of actress Stephanie Justin, who played Quiet, holding a PlayArts Kai Quiet figure. I don't know, I just think that's cool, because she looks just like Quiet, and it's actually it's almost freakish. We also want to start talking about and highlighting some cosplayers here and there on the show, so we did include a gallery down below of some really cool Quiet cosplay. And you know what? Social issues aside, and problems you might have with her character and the writing and stuff, I think Quiet's kind of a cool character. Yeah, she doesn't talk. Yeah, she's half naked. But she does have this charm about her, and she does fit into that Metal Gear Solid 5 story. I don't know if you guys have played it, but she does have some really cool moments, and I like her as a character. Ooh. Sorry. And it's also, speaking of Metal Gear Solid 5, so some brilliant PC modder out there actually switched the character models around and put Ocelot in all of the quiet scenes, and it's the most hilarious thing ever. But last but certainly not least, the most exciting thing I'm here to talk about today is Pokémon Go. This trailer dropped and surprised everyone. This is a new Android and iPhone game releasing in 2016 that lets you walk around in the real world and collect Pokemon. Yeah, do you guys remember that like April Fool's thing, that Google Maps thing where you could click on different parts of the map and find Pokemon and catch them all? Well, I guess they decided to make that into an augmented reality game where you walk around and you wear a little wrist thing that tracks your movements and notifies you when there's a Pokemon creature around. So you pick up your phone, you see your Pokemon in the world, you catch it, you train it, you walk around, you battle other people, you trade. It's just like Pokemon dreams come true, like when I was little and I used to carry around my Game Boy and my Link cable or my pack of cards waiting to fight someone out in the wild. It's just, this trailer is totally like, it's totally over the top. It's complete like pre-rendered bullshit. It doesn't actually show you the game at all, but you just can't help but be excited. The whole like social aspect of it, I really hope that this is good. And I hope it takes off and everybody plays it and it's fun. That being said, I can be totally cynical and say, oh, I hope this isn't all just free-to-play bullshit, because it very well could be. But hopefully they do it in a way that isn't obtrusive, because this just looks like it could be a lot of fun. But speaking of people acting their age, I uploaded a video on my own YouTube channel, youtube.com/becausevideogames, where I just open up and play with a bunch of Star Wars toys in the most embarrassing and self-deprecating way possible, because I live to entertain and completely embarrass myself. So maybe check it out. Let me know what you think. But what I do really want to know what you guys think is about all the stuff we talked about today. Are you hyped for Pokemon Go? How do you feel about the character Quiet? And do you think creator of Mario, Shigeru Miyamoto, do you think he answered those questions truthfully, or do you think he's full of shit? Let me know anything you want in the comments below about video game stuff that happened this week, and of course you can talk to me in the comments or on Twitter at Jake Baldino. But if you are new and this is your first time coming around, hey, what's up? Definitely subscribe, because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.